Welcome everyone to this Blackwood special episode of Tales of Tamriel. We had the opportunity of testing Blackwood hands-on with a group of press members, content creators and streamers, so we'll be talking about everything we learned and experienced about the upcoming Blackwood chapter of Elder Scrolls Online in this episode, hence why I skipped our usual introduction. I am Arkaniir. I am hosting the show along with my two amazing co-hosts, starting with the Giggle Queen herself, the stream team member, HyperPixie Gaming. How's it going, Pixie?
Going great.
So Pixie also got to test the Blackwood chapter along with me, but also joining us, representing the player base who still hasn't gotten their hands on the Blackwood chapter, the man, the myth, the legend himself, LotusOfDoom. How's it going, Lotus?
Woo, console life and not being on PC.
See,
I don't know what's happening.
So, yeah, we actually got to get our hands on the new chapter that will be coming out on June 1st for PC and June 8th for consoles. And we got to play around with everything that everybody is curious about, like companions, like the Seals of Endeavor, like the Oblivion Portals, the Trial, and overall the Zone. So we'll be talking about all those today. Answer your questions if you are watching this live. Feel free to drop your questions in chat. And, you know, go into as many details as we can, given some things are subject. So the testing that we did, the client we had, was an older build. So a lot of things are subject to change. So we are not going to go into details and the numbers of things because they will change up until PTS, and then they will change after the PTS most likely, as it does with every chapter. So there's no point in going into them, but we will give you a general insight. We will share our experiences. We will discuss what we think about everything and how they will affect your Elder Scrolls Online experience. And Lotus, as you represent the people,
Yes.
At any point, if you have any questions, do stop us and, you know, interrupt us, and we shall have some discussions.
Yeah, will do. I have the benefit of not having the behind the scenes knowledge. So if anything doesn't come across as clear, hopefully I'll be able to articulate that and be like, explain, please. So
yeah, that actually I think will work great as a dynamic.
Yeah,
I don't want to say I'm glad you didn't get to test it, but
well, to be fair though, it's weird being on shows for things like this, and also since I like being a player and for the stories, having this not be spoiled before it happened, it's also kind of good. Like, I'm obviously interested, but at the same time, it's like, well, I do like the surprise as well. So it's kind of a mixed bag on my side of it. It's like, well, yeah, I could know more, but it is fun not knowing everything, I guess. So I'm in that weird middle space.
Yeah, I have to say I did spoil some things for myself, but we will not be going into any story or anything like that today. So rest assured, everyone, there won't be any spoilers other than, you know, the new mechanics that will be introduced into the game. So I feel like the biggest thing that everybody is waiting around and waiting to know more about is the companions. Are they useful? Are they fun? What are they for? What is their purpose? And, you know, how detailed is the system? Things like that. So, first things, companions are unlocked through a quest. So, at least at the beginning, there won't be any crown purchase regarding them or anything like that, because I know people have been like, oh no, there will be in the crown store. No, you'll be unlocking them through the quest lines. They have a neat quest that I won't get into. I did so we had 2 companions available in the preview, and there will be 2 companions available in the launch. And they both have good quests. I finished one of them. And I played and leveled one of them as much as I can. So once you unlock them, you start being able to summon them through a quick slot or going into your collections and basically double-clicking, much like summoning a non-combat pet. Once you do, they start following you around, attacking on your enemies, casting their skills, doing everything that they can do, and they start gaining experience based on that. Now, fear not, their experience pool is different than yours, so they do not latch onto your experience, so you can freely have them around and level them up without losing anything yourself. So we initially thought that we would be able to gear them up the same way we can gear ourselves up. You know, put Hunting's Rage on them, Night Mother's Gaze on them, or something like that. That is not the case. They have an entirely different item sets based for them. So they have companion items that drop individually for companions, and they only drop if you have a companion active at the time. These items come... Yeah.
Quick question here.
Yep.
Have you so this is I had heard some of this, so hearing you kind of reiterate it makes me very curious about this. Have either of you played Diablo 3?
I
played Diablo 3 only once, finished the story, but that was it.
Okay, you probably won't be able to answer this. Okay, my assumption then, and anybody can probably correct me if I'm wrong listening to this that has anything that, you know, might have already been involved with this. In Diablo 3, when you have a companion, basically they don't use the same gear as you. They have set specific, like they have character specific gear that can drop for them. The companions each kind of don't, like, they can have a weapon, they can have like an artifact thing, and then like a gear piece or something like that. So is that kind of like the idea is they have their own couple of little like set item things that they put on, as opposed to they have a helmet, a chest, shoulders, blah, 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 blah. Or is it like they just have a different set of gear that we have to put on them?
So they have the full armor sets, all 7 body pieces plus jewelry, plus one set of weapons. So they don't have a second hotbar. They only have a single hotbar, single weapon.
Okay.
But much like our own character, you can put anything you want on them. You can put, a restoration staff, bow, whatever you put on them, they have that weapon's skill line unlocked, basically, depending on their level, of course.
Okay.
And the items, they don't come in, sets, but they come in traits. So there are 9 new traits specific to companion items. And you don't have to research them, don't worry. But they do things like, increase maximum health by 3%, increase, healing done by X%, increase damage done by X%, that sort of thing, basically. So you decorate them for their role, but it's not an intricate system of decorating your own character with, I'm going to put on Arcasis, and then I'm going to put on, Powerful Assault, so whenever I use Vigor, it gets bonus damage. It's not that detailed. It's more like, I want this guy to do damage, so I'm going to put a Great Sword on him, and I'm going to put all the damage-related companion items on him. But they don't have set bonuses, just specific traits on them.
So I see a question in chat from Slaps asking if they can carry items for you. I don't remember whenever I was looking at the companion menu, they don't carry your items. Do you know, Ark, if the companion... Well, the companion gear, do they hold their own gear, or do we hold their gear?
No, we hold their gear
We
as
hold
well.
it? Okay.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
So, unfortunately, they don't even hold their own gear, let alone carrying our burdens.
So that was something they mentioned whenever they were talking with us. They said that the reason why they chose to only let the companion gear drop whenever the companion is active is to keep companion gear from littering your inventory if you don't want to use companions. So if you're not using your companion, you're not going to get their gear, so that's not going to be sitting around in your inventory. But if you do use your companion, you're going to want to keep them active so that you can get the better gear.
Yep. So it's a very opt-in system. Like if you don't want to get involved, you can literally just not unlock a companion, and you won't be bothered by anything that comes with a companion.
So the irony here is that we're actually Lydia now, because
yes.
Okay, we get a free name change token so that we can all rename ourselves Lydia, because I feel like there's going to be nothing but Lydias running around now.
Yeah.
Interesting. Huh.
in addition to their gear, you can decorate them with skills. So you can put 5 skills on them plus the ultimate. They have only one ultimate from what I saw, at least in the preview went, but they have basically our class abilities with a little bit of difference. So the 2 companions that were available, one of them was a Dragon Knight and Miri was a Nightblade, I want to say. Do you remember, Pixie?
Yeah, I think she was a Nightblade.
Right. So, for example, Bastion, who was the Dragon Knight, he has access to chains. He can actually chain enemies, but it has a cooldown. So they have access to class skill lines, not all of them, but they are a bit different than our own skills. First things first, they have cooldowns. For example, like 14-second cooldown, 20-second cooldown, 8-second cooldown. And they have certain triggers, like when your health or the companion's health drops below a certain threshold, he tries to cast that skill if it's not in cooldown at that moment. So their AI, their behavior, basically, is based on how you decorate them. So they will try to cast skills in the order from 1 to ultimate, based on their cooldowns. So if you, for example, want a companion to tank, you can put a taunt on him, you can put the damage shield, put the healing, put the crowd control on him, and he will basically try to do his rotation based on those skills order and their cooldown as much as they can.
Okay, so it's a mix of the cooldowns / the rotation type of thing.
Yep.
Like, obviously, because that was the first thing I was thinking of. It's like, if it's going down the line and there's like the space between, like, okay, it cools down before it does the next skill as opposed to just spamming things, there's no, like, the companion would essentially lose taunt before it would get through rotation to get back to taunt. So would it reapply taunt when, like, the 15-second taunt timer drops, if that's, I assume, the first skill you put in or whatever?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, I tested it not with taunt, but I tested it with Wall of Elements, and he was recasting Wall of Elements. And to answer Slap's question in chat, yes, they do have weapon skill lines. So they have some class skill lines and some weapon skill lines, whatever weapon you have them equipped with. So for example, I was running Bastion. I didn't use Miri. I just used Bastion for my preview. And he was recasting Wall of Elements and keeping that up pretty well.
Most skills have sort of this condition for them to be cast. So, for example, if he is at full health, he's not going to spam healing. It has a cooldown. It has a condition. Like if it drops below a certain threshold. I think the taunt might. I don't remember exactly because I wasn't using the taunt much since I was in my tank build. But I think the taunt even had the condition of if the thing is untaunted type.
Activate taunt on thing that is untaunted. That's what I was curious on. One other thing before we get too far beyond it, because I actually think it's a pretty good question. Reisler from chat says, with there being 2 companions at launch, can you earn both and swap between them, or do you basically have to make a choice and you can only get one?
You can get both and you can swap between them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You can't have them both active at the same time. You have to pick one or the other, but you can unsummon Bastion and pull Miri out if you want to.
Okay, cool.
So Slaps also asks, are all their abilities on the global cooldown, or does each ability actually have a cooldown? Each ability actually has its own specific cooldown. You were about to say something, Lotus. I think I cut you off.
Yeah, but I don't think it was important because I don't remember what it was. Oh, wait. It's still not that important, but I remember what it was. So I'm going to ask it anyways. Do the companions level separately, or is it a companion level? Okay, so they're individual characters in every sense of the idea.
Yes.
Okay.
They do have very different personalities too, and they will actually react to things around you to some degree. For example, I went into a delve with Bastion, and whenever I wiped out the enemies in a room with Bastion, he told me, sheath your weapons, the threat is over. And so like they're smart enough to know certain things, like whenever you become disengaged from combat, and they'll comment on that. And apparently from what we saw during the talk that Rich was giving us, they actually, like, for example, Bastion doesn't like it if you steal, but Miri is kind of okay with stealing because she's a Nightblade and stuff like that. So they have very different personalities, and there's a system where they can like or dislike you that will affect like the quests you get from them, because you can do quests for your companions as well. It's pretty cool.
And I think it's called the rapport system. And their rapport with you, basically their relationship with you, won't affect their gameplay. So if they hate you, they won't stop actually fighting, but it also doesn't stop them from basically trash talking you or dissing you, depending on their character, insulting you or things like that. So they do have character to them, and it will progress as you adventure with them. They might like you better, they might hate you more. And if they like you more, it's you unlock new quests with them for their stories. So according to Pilot Jim Jones, there was a ESO Live on the companions today, which I missed because I was playing Horizon Zero Dawn. But apparently, if the rapport drops enough, they will leave you, as mentioned in the ESO Live today, which I like. Cooldown. I actually like that. Yeah,
that makes me interested in that situation, because I don't like being told what to do by my smarmy companions that I don't have yet. So they'll do as I say. But now it seems like they'll do as I say and then leave.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Do the companions have a max level? Is there any further leveling after the max, like champion points? I didn't hit a max level during the preview. Or someone got up to 20?
Well, I think they said it during... I think somebody asked whenever Rich was talking to us about it, and they leveled to 20.
Yeah, our presentations were on different days, so our Q&As were different. So she's got some of the answers that I don't, and I got some of the answers they don't. So it's it was a very busy few days for Rich and Gina. They were pulling like 12+ hour shifts with both EU time zones, Australian, Oceanic time zone, the American time zones. It was a very busy few days. Will they interact with quest dialogue? They didn't. But would they implement something like that in the future? I doubt, because that is something very difficult to implement from a coding perspective. They interact with the world events.
Sure, but it's like, since they wouldn't really answer in dialogue, I would assume there's only so much that they could actually do without like literally pushing your character out of the way while you're trying to select your dialogue option and being like, persuade, threaten. Like, it's like, all right, well, if they can't, barring something ridiculous like that, I would assume they can just kind of do observations of a circumstance.
Yeah,
like
so for example, if you loot something, they can go like, oh, that could be useful, But they are specific to certain actions. But interacting with quest dialogue would require every quest dialogue in the game almost to be tied to an action that a companion can react to, which is a massive undertaking that if I was the developer of, and if that task came through my way, I would be like, not doing, push it back to the backlog.
I quit.
Yeah, that's it. That would be a massive undertaking. So Rykoth says, not a question about the companions, but did you get a good look at the pre-order outfit style? So there are two outfit styles. I didn't check which one is the pre-order one. So the Dremora outfit style, I think the Dremora something kin something, the Dremora name.
Kind of?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that one is pretty much the Daedric armor from, Oblivion, Skyrim. It's spiky. It's dark. It has red.
Probably
marks.
like in Reeve armor. Yeah. That would make sense what Pixie said.
Yeah, I didn't pay too much attention to that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So most of the time I spent in Blackwood was looking at the zone itself and just kind of getting a feel for the way it was laid out. I didn't think to look at the new. So I saw some of the new motifs if you watch the trailer really closely, but I didn't actually look at the outfit styles and motifs myself. I did, however, preview the collector's edition Nightmare Battle Cinch, and that thing is awesome. I really, really like it a lot, and I'm excited to get it whenever the expansion launches or the chapter launches. So that one is really, really cool. It has a flamey tail, lots of fire, super cool cat. Has armor, looks awesome.
I forgot to check the collectibles. In general, it seems.
Overwhelmed with everything else.
Yeah. So, another question that was asked by a few people: will you be able to romance companions? As with our community, for some reason, people are looking for characters to romance, and
For
people
some
are.
reason, because the ESO fam is the thirstiest group of humans on the planet.
True. And apparently that thirst is, every chapter going towards either Lady Thorn or Mayor's Dagon.
Every character, every
places
plant
that should not be directed to. But
looking for love in all the wrong places.
They are aware that people would be looking for this. So it's in their radar. But it's not going to be available at launch. You won't be able to romance your companions. So I guess you'll have to keep looking at those Dagon pictures. I mean, that's what you get.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So we talked about their, how to gear them up, how to level them up, what skills they have access to, how can they hack. Now, how competent are these companions? What are they meant for? So when you activate a companion, it actually pops up in your party, in your group. You can see it on the top left in your group menu with its name, and it is tied to your name, so you know which companion belongs to which character. They are not meant for difficult progression content. That is clear. They made it very clear you won't be going into, Veteran Stone Garden or, I don't know, Kain's Aegis with these companions. They will get melted.
All right, but...
They do their best, but they are not an endgame player.
Right, but do they know they're left from their right? Can they manage to do the Maw of Lorkhaj?
No, actually, no. So they they cannot do mechanics. They can't, for example, in Itharian Archive, you can't order them to go stand on a pedestal so you can progress to the next level, those portal things. So yeah, they can't do mechanics. They are just there to assist you in whatever way you decorated them to assist you as.
So they don't have weight to them either, I'm assuming, because
they don't have
the first thing, character weight or girth, because the first thing I was thinking of, you might not be able to tell them to go stand on the Itharian Archive pedestal, but can I run across it quick enough that they are on it while I get to the next one and it weighs it down so that we can go, so I can stop pugging randoms?
I wish we tested that, but we didn't.
I
feel like they might actually have character weight. That might
because if that's one of the old methods to doing Itharian Archive. Look, I love people in the community, but sometimes I just don't want to pug people from Craglorn. But we're still trying to do Itharian Archive. You used to be able to dodge roll from one platform to another quick enough that it would depress one and then you could depress the other before it would go back up, so you could actually get through the portals with less people. But it doesn't work like that anymore. So my thought was to squish one of these guys or gals onto it. So
I mean,
that one I was a little curious on.
We'll have to try.
Yeah, I'm curious now.
There's another question. So what about simple things like Last Boss Fungal 1? Are they going to die to the boss AoE every time? So we mentioned this in the beginning, but since a lot of people just joined the live stream, our preview build was not up to date as it would have been, closing on the PTS and closing on the launch. So some of their capabilities were not all fully implemented. but I saw Bastion dodge roll a whole bunch of times. People mentioned him breaking free, bashing. So they are capable of some sort of avoidance. They do their best to, get out of the mechanics and things like that. Now, Fungal 1 AoE is a massive one. So I don't know if he'll be able to get out of that, because that requires you to, especially if you're the tank, run a bit first and then dodge roll if you want to actually get out of the full zone. So that's tricky. You might not be able to do that.
I mean, this is speculation, so I'll be curious to see how it actually works. But some AoEs, even if you're still in them but dodge roll, it still counts as a miss. Like, the best example I can give, I mean, if you're doing Cloud Rest and you're in that pie slice that sucks you down, theoretically, even if you're in that pie slice and you dodge right as the wave comes, it doesn't matter. It auto dodges. So you miss the pie slice anyways. So they might just give that grace period to the bot. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, well, it just dodges right before this attack goes off for the sake of clearing it. Even if it's still in the AoE, it might get the benefit that we don't, or something like that.
So basically what they are for is, for example, you just want to do a random normal, or you are farming for a gear and you don't want to deal with pugs, because as great as our community is, some people are just nervous about playing with other people. Some people just don't want to deal with pugs, deal with other people. Some people just want to solo things, right? So the companions will come into play mostly there in overland stuff, when you are questing, when you are playing in the middle of the night and you need that extra bit of survivability or extra bit of DPS to take down a world boss, because maybe you're doing dailies. That's me. That's why I'm giving that example.
Yes.
There's no one awake. There's
I'm
no one awake
people.
doing dailies at 4 a.m., folks. I need that. And I am a tank, so I need that extra DPS. So they mostly come into play in those situations. So they're not meant for doing difficult, mechanic heavy or, damage heavy, survival heavy mechanics or dungeons or trials in the game. So yeah, some other concerns and questions about them. They do die in battle. You can res them up with a soul gem, just like you res a player. They will automatically accept it, get up, continue the fight, and if they take damage, they'll die again. Now, a couple things I asked during our chat with Rich, performance effect of this, because you see everybody else's companions as well. So if all 100 people in Mournhold turns up their companions, that's another 100 people. So this is basically something they are considering. They'll be monitoring. They have tools implemented to monitor the, performance effects of the system. So at launch, maybe I'm thinking we'll have maybe some sort of performance impact, but the fact that they have tools already in place to monitor this means they will be able to address these performance issues pretty quickly, so I got no worries there. Station blocking is also another very, very asked question, whether if they are going to be blocking
topic.
yeah, whether if they are going to be blocking stations. And if I remember correctly, as they are, they will. They might block stations, but they said they are aware that this is a concern to the community and will act accordingly after some major testing. Basically, not just by like a few dozen people like us, but more overall testing. They do follow you around. They do mount and stealth. If you are stealthing, they go into stealth. If you are mounting, they go into mount. My companion seemed a bit slow whenever I was sprinting like crazy, but I had all the speed buffs because the testing character was full CP, so I had all my points in running fast. So that might be why he was falling behind, but that was a thing. So yeah, overall companions, they are a really fun system to play with. They are not for completing hard content. they definitely do help. So, for example, even if their DPS feels low, because they don't do like, end game level player DPS, they do more DPS than me, even when I'm trying to do DPS, so that's good. But I am no, gauge for doing DPS. However,
yeah, it's really nice for leveling support specifically. So if you're running a healer, like a lot of times, like even a delve will take a while just because you don't melt things like a DPS would. So that is super useful, and that's like a use case I can see myself personally using them for is whenever I level a new healer. Like if I decide to make a Nightblade healer or something along those lines, like I would bring my companion with me because it's just going to make things less painful.
Yep. And another thing, even if they don't do a lot of DPS, they can help with your survivability a lot. Because they can use damage shields, they can use like Blood Altar, they can use chains, for example, they can use crowd control. So if you decorate them just fine, you'll be having a lot of synergies to interact with, provided by your companion. So even if you are doing solo content or anything like that, you will still have some healing, you will still have some synergies to interact with and gain resources back. He will chain things for you, so you don't have to waste resources running around or chaining things yourself. Yeah. And they are very immersive. As we mentioned earlier, they comment on things, they follow you around. You can put costumes on them, you can give them mounts for them to use. So in general, very immersive, very, role player type or casual player type content. But even if you are an end game player who doesn't care about such things, they will still have some use for you in the sense, especially when you are soloing things, going after world bosses or things like that.
And you can pick what mount they ride, correct? So like
yes,
extra guars.
Oh man. I hope they don't get guars.
Just wanted to double check that. Make sure
also,
that there's extra guars.
They can wear costumes as well, so you can dress them up cute, which is fun.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's not like so even though we don't have like the outfit thing, but you get like
they have access to some of your costumes, basically.
Okay, because I was gonna say that's kind of neat. Emperor's regalia on him or something.
Yeah, I think
now
I had
he's the best companion.
Bastion was wearing my antiquarian's robes because that was one of the few costumes I had unlocked on that server, and so I threw him in the antiquarian's robes, and that was pretty cool.
I have that on Guaraniir. It's a great costume.
So
that's what you get for seeing all these special things without me.
Pilot just confirms, and if you assign them a mount, it doesn't take it away from you, so you can use them both at the same time. Yes. Basically, they have so they don't, for some reason, have access to all of your costumes and stuff. Mine didn't. I don't know if it was intended or not. But you can definitely dress them up in a way that will match your character or, look ridiculous, I guess, based
Nordic
on your choices.
Towel.
Yeah, if I can put a Nordic Bat towel on my companion, I will, and I will wear mine myself, and we're going to run around like two bodies in bat towels.
That's acceptable.
Yeah.
I'll allow that.
So, yeah, that was pretty much it for companions. Pixie, do you have anything else that you want to add that I may have forgotten?
No, not specifically about companions, other than I really like them and I'm excited for them.
That's the first thing I'm gonna do when the new chapter hits. I'm not gonna do the main story or anything. I'm gonna go get myself a companion. That is, of course, if it's not tied to the main story. We had tricks in the preview server, so I don't exactly know how the order of things are going up to the companion quest, but we'll see. So the next major thing, I guess the biggest game changer, at least if you care about cosmetics in Elder Scrolls Online. Seals of Endeavor. Now, they already posted an article about this, explaining what it is. And basically, from now on, well, not from now on, but from, Blackwood Chapter on, you will be able to buy anything that exists in the crown crates by a new in-game currency called Seals of Endeavor that you will earn by doing in-game activities. So one of the biggest problems majority of people I know at least had with crown crates, including myself, was the fact that there were no way of earning them in the game. As our argument used to be that if you could earn them in the game, we would completely, 100% be fine with the entire concept. And now you can. And they are not tedious, oh god, not again type activities, but they are things that you complete while just doing your everyday activities in ESO, which is perfect. You have things like craft, 20 blacksmithing items, steal whatever many, items from environment, get some antiquities, kill a couple Daedras, complete a quest, kill a couple world bosses, do PvP. So basically everything that you would do on a normal day in Elder Scrolls Online, you will have these daily and weekly endeavors or activities. And you don't have to go to an NPC or anything. They're active in the background. So you could just check your list, endeavors list every day when you log in. See whichever ones you want to complete, because there are more endeavors than you can claim in a single day. So you are not stuck with doing everything or doing a specific thing. You don't want to do PvP, just skip the PvP endeavors. You don't have to do them. Do the, crafting ones or Daedra ones, or like PvE ones, or vice versa. Now, we will not know how many endeavors will be needed for anything up until the launch. Not in this preview build, not in the PTS. That number will come once the chapter is launched. But regardless of that number, unless it's like 17 billion seals of endeavors for amount, which I really don't think it will, this is one of the greatest changes that is coming to Elder Scrolls Online. And it's actually a great timing in the sense that a lot of countries have been basically considering whether to ban or not loot boxes in games based on them being, gambling. So if those laws get more widespread, if those laws get accepted by more countries and regions, they will need to convert crown crates to something else. So this is a good change in case that happens too, from the company's perspective as well, not just the players, but it is a safeguard for their own future too, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, and that seems kind of inevitable with the way things are going. Because debate aside, I'm actually much more on the liberal. I mean, I don't like crown crates. I think, well, not crown crate, any type of loot box specifically is, I think, a predatory model. It's not great, but I'm not of the part that's like, oh, we shouldn't have these. It's just I'm of the mindset where you just label it gambling because it's gambling. I mean, there's just not any way, like, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not really super up for debate. People can try to, but at the same time, casinos exist. Having the option is whatever. I like the fact that they're kind of giving the option so people can earn it, and it doesn't have to be this, money or nothing approach. This seems very user friendly, and like you said, the business aspect of it is safeguarding them from needing to scramble and do this when it's not their choice so much as it's a requirement. So them being ahead of the curve is definitely a good thing. So I in general, it seems like there's really no drawback to this because since it's well known that cosmetics and stuff like that aren't really super my thing, okay, then I can just not do this. Or I'll just passively collect them, because if it's just quests for something that I'm already doing,
so
I
that's
just
the thing.
Get stuff. Actually, here's a good question. Do you know, since you can buy the stuff with this endeavor token thing.
Mhm.
I don't know if they have a specific name.
Seals of
Seals of
Endeavor.
Endeavor.
They're literally called Seals of
Yeah,
Endeavor. Okay,
yeah.
okay,
That's
fair enough. I
so
didn't. I,
there
I
are
knew that was a
endeavors.
system, but-
There are
Yep.
endeavors that you complete and get like normal random
and get the seals.
rewards.
Okay,
You also get
Right.
seals of endeavor that you can spend on crown stuff.
okay, gotcha. I know you can't buy items and then convert them to gems. I had seen that, which
Yeah, no.
That's totally fine. I actually don't know why you would want to do that exactly, but maybe there's something about it I'm missing. But question, are you able to gift them? Not the
No,
endeavors
they are
themselves,
bound
but-
and they are account wide.
so if you buy an item, you only
No.
have the option to buy the item for yourself.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You cannot gift these. So basically, if you're not interested in the system at all, it will just accumulate on your account without you ever actually knowing that they're accumulating. Except
Yeah,
it
so
will
in
send
other
you
words,
like a notification in the game, like, hey, you completed an endeavor, here are your rewards. But other than that, you literally don't have to interact with it in any way if you don't like the system. It's
Right,
completely in the background, non-intrusive, non-invasive. Just they're chilling in the back, giving you endeavors. And if a crown crate item happens to exist that you really want to get, you can check your seals of endeavor. It's like, oh, okay, I have like whatever many. And bam, you can get it.
Well, I mean, much like I've long said, I wish I could gift crown gems. And then when we got the CP cap increased, turns out I found a use for crown gems where you can buy
Experience
scrolls.
Yeah.
So apparently I have limitless experience scrolls if I bother to do these. Something also that's brought up in chat, which I think is kind of worth noting as we were talking about the business aspect of it. Rykoff was curious, and I've heard this as well, that Microsoft actually has a policy about there needing to be a way for RNG-based gifts to be attainable in game. They cannot be purchase only.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and this basically immediately came upon the finalization of Bethesda being owned by Microsoft. So them having the current crown crates only would actually violate Microsoft's own policy that they implemented at some point, as far as I know. So
if Microsoft does have a policy like that, that makes perfect sense.
I believe it came up a while ago because they had a few not so great systems in some of their things. And I think they, with their approach of being much more user friendly over there, I definitely kind of would make sense that it synced up with this, provided that is the policy. I don't know the fine details, but I've also heard that. So it makes sense that that's with the shift of ownership. Suddenly, okay, let's fix this. Like, we got to just give away to get it as well.
So, Rykoth Raisler asks, how the Seals of Endeavor awarded to you? Is it looted to your bag or sent to your mail? Basically, say you have an endeavor that says kill 2 Daedra. You go do random things, end up killing 2 Daedra. You just get a notification saying that, like, hey, you completed this endeavor, and it is automatically claimed, and it takes its place in your currency tab, along with like your event tickets, your transmute crystals, whatever. It just pops up there. You don't have to interact with anything, you don't have to go turn in a quest. You don't have to do anything. It's just yeah.
So just to piggyback on and finalize what we were talking about, before Slaps got nuked into Oblivion, like he does every show, thanks Slaps, he provided the direct link to the Microsoft stipulations for loot box policies. And item number 2 is items in loot boxes can and must always be earned through play.
There you go.
And then they give examples of grinding, blah, 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 blah. So this most likely is exactly what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
That is Microsoft policy. So
there you go.
I mean, no matter what the reason, I'm extremely happy about this change as a crown crate addict.
This solves all my issue with loot boxes. Like that, this is the only thing, except some, if Asian free-to-play games tend to give 7,000 billion values to these things. but still call them attainable in the game. But I really think that's not going to happen in ESO. So it is not going to be
I'm
easy
really
for
excited.
by any means, because then it would basically it would just destroy the monetization altogether. It will be difficult, I would assume, but it's going to be attainable nonetheless. So yeah.
I do know it's going to go a long way to keep me personally engaged, just because how much I like cosmetics. So I'm definitely going to make sure I'm capping out every week and every day on those dailies and weeklies for those Seals of Endeavor, because I really want to make sure I get those. Same thing with the event tickets. I'm usually really active during event times because I want the cosmetics that come with the events. And so I want the event tickets. So it's definitely like a driving force for me as like a collector to want to do these. And it's really, really cool because I actually really enjoy doing dailies, especially whenever a new chapter launches and things like that. So this is something that is my style of gameplay all the way. So just overall, I'm extremely happy with this change. And I think this is the thing, other than the story and the new zone, that I'm most excited about with the new chapter.
Yeah, so another thing is, as you said, this is great. So for example, a lot of the times I log into ESO, and if I don't have any activity planned with a group, I find myself like, okay, what do I do? Like, do I go do a dungeon? Do I go do PvP? I can't decide, because I've been playing the game for 7 years. Now, this will at least give me a guideline. I can look up my endeavors and like, okay, so it says kill Daedra. Well, I guess I can do, like, let's see what the pledge is. Pledge is White Gold Tower. Great! There are Daedra in the White Gold Tower. Let's do White Gold Tower. Get the pledge, get the endeavor. Crafting ones will automatically complete anyway if you are doing your writs. They will just, you won't even notice their existence because they will be out. This could push me, for example, I don't do any crime in ESO anymore. I'm done with all crime stuff.
Anymore. You're reformed.
Yeah. But this could push me into starting doing some crime again as well. Get those, yeah, this could push me to start murdering people, start using that blade of flow, start stealing.
This new system makes me want to murder people and rob them. Great. Perfect implementation.
Yeah. So Razor says, can you earn as many endeavors as you want, or will there be a cap during a certain time frame? So you can claim 3, again, might change. I don't know if it's the final number. You can claim 3 endeavors per day and 1 weekly endeavor. They give different amounts of rewards. So say you can claim 3 times X amount per day plus 1 times Y amount per week. So there is a cap to how many you can earn per character. So we don't really know, for example, how many days on minimum will it take you to get a Radiant Apex, but there will be a minimum number of days that you can get certain things because there is going to be a cap. So we'll see that at launch, honestly. Also, this will make a great like guild activity and stuff. Hey, let's gather up, like let's group up and do our endeavors. That's
actually a really good point. Yeah, that would be a community thing.
Mm-hmm.
Endeavor night.
You'll just go, like, if there's, I don't know, steal 100 items, you'll just hit T's Bane and start stealing with 4 people. It's not going to count, as far as I can tell, for, each other, but it's something to do together. Or if it says kill 2 world bosses, I can solo world bosses. Killing a world boss takes 20 minutes for my tank. And that is if the boss doesn't, one of those, health regenerating types, then it's infinite amounts. So yeah, there will be some community activity part to this as well. That brings us to the next big thing, portals, Oblivion Portals. Now, we discussed Oblivion Portals a lot between the 3 of us before we got to test anything or things like that. And turns out we were quite off track with our assumptions to Oblivion Gates.
So I do want to jump in really quick and just preface this with the fact that, okay, I've ran around the zone forever. I'm really unlucky or blind. I did not find an Oblivion portal.
So they are small.
It was just... I apparently did not see them. I'm assuming it's going to be different whenever it's on live because this is a super old build. I just got incredibly unlucky because Ark found a couple of them. I could not find them. So I am going to be living this with Lotus and you guys because I have not been able to find one.
So I got to do them a few times. Every time it was with a group where we sprinted around and looked for, the portals. So these portals won't have a specific map spawn locations. Like they won't have a map indicator like the dragons. They won't have a specific map location like the dolmens. These will spawn randomly. It will just pop up somewhere in the map. And you will have to stumble upon it or actively search it, which will make, again, a nice group activity, because you won't be able to just run to a specific location on the map and just sit there AFK until the world event starts, a Hero Storm comes or a Dolmen drops or anything like that. You will have to actively seek these portals out if you want to participate in these. I feel like some people will hate this. Some people like myself will like this. And, unlucky people like Pixie will like it, but won't be able to do it at all because she won't ever actually stumble upon one.
I'm just convinced I'm never going to the Deadlands at this point because I just can't find a way and can't find the door. Don't know what to do. I really wanted to see it. I was excited. They sound really cool.
So these Oblivion Portals play very similar to public dungeons. You go through a portal, it drops you in a random starting point in the Deadlands. All these points eventually lead to the final boss, the final battle, the final area that you will complete the public dungeon or the Oblivion Portal. But you start at different locations, even if you are in the same instance. So there are different paths, you fight different creatures and mini-bosses and whatnot, all the way until the center. They are instance-based, so they have a limit. They have a population limit. So remember, Lotus, how we were discussing, whether if... what happens if 100 people teleports into it?
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. So what happens is you find a portal, right? You ran around, you stumbled upon a portal, or, you were in a group, someone found the portal, everyone teleported to them, and you got into it. The server checks, so the portal for you decides a starting point, right? It says, okay, you are starting at the point A. And then the server checks the population of the instance. If it's full, it finds you, it creates you basically a new instance and pops you into that one, or finds you a suitable existing instance of this portal or public dungeon. So you won't be able to rush in there with 1 billion people and crash the instance or whatever. They will be population limited. And in the same instance, people can start at individual. If they enter from different portals, they can spawn in different locations and make their way up towards the center. And much like everything else, you clear the final boss, you could do the final battle, you get your loot, and you get out. They are pretty much world event public dungeons. They are quite fun. They are very interesting in terms of visuality. There are some epic sceneries in there that I will not spoil with explaining it. But once you first go into the these Oblivion Portals, look around and you will find some crazy things in there that you'll be like, what the hell?
Now I'm so sad I couldn't get into one.
It was actually asked in chat, and I'm kind of curious too. Do you have any idea what the population amount is that can fit into a portal? Okay. I'm kind of wondering if it's like a raid team.
The maximum number we went in there was like 5 people plus their companions. So you were like 10 people, I guess. But I don't know if companions actually add to the count or not. So
I was just wondering if can you fit? It sounds like you'd probably be able to at least fit a trial, but it's like the old Zerg of 24, like max capacity. It's like maybe like that. I was just curious. So
Yeah, we don't know. And Slap says, are they the new world event or the new public dungeon? These are the new world events. They mechanically they act like a public dungeon, but they are the new world events. They will be spawning all across Blackwood, random locations. So expect a lot of this. Remember, you know how some people in our community, Galsner, wants that good old MMO feeling where you have to chat with people, interact with people to do certain content, right? Well, Oblivion Portals will be one of those things, in my opinion, because if you go out there trying to find one by yourself,
Like me.
yeah,
Oh, like
like
me.
Pixie,
Yeah, like
if you
me.
go out there, try to find one by yourself, you might not stumble into one. I don't know how dense or how many of them will be out there, but I can see a lot of zone chats screaming like, there's an Oblivion Portal south of Leavin, and everyone just rushes there, and then people like, east of Gideon, there's an Oblivion Portal, and zone chat people yelling, or, Oblivion Portal groups where people are group up and try to find this. I feel like it's going to be a good addition. I feel like it's going to be a good change to the current world events where everyone gathers up in a single location, regardless of instance, and basically 200 people just one tap a dragon and it's dead.
Yeah.
So
I'm definitely looking forward to actually being able to find one of these things. So I'm definitely going to be one of those people in zone chat. Like, please tell me where a portal is. I'm blind. I need help.
So yeah, well, this will be, pretty much as we see in chat, like portal up, where portal zone. It will probably be some fun times. Those are pretty much, so the companions, Seals of Endeavor, and the portals are the new mechanics or, content that we are getting to the game. There's obviously the new zone, Blackwood, which is a beautiful zone. It is a bit swampy at parts, but thankfully not as swampy as Murkmire. And it features Leavin. And I must say, Leavin is an absolutely beautiful city in Second Era. Now, we know in Oblivion it was a bit, swampy, it was sunken most of the part. It wasn't in the best shape. But in Second Era, they redesigned it amazingly. You all know I hate the Colovian Imperial architecture, which is more Gothic. And I love the Nibenese, white marble or white stone architecture. And Leavin is all that. It's beautiful. It's all white marble stone and wooden, combination, dark brown wood combination. It's a beautiful city. It has, I think, the best writ crafting circle in the game. You will see when you get in there. But I claim it. Leavin is the new best crafting location. I say it now. Alinor, Vivek City, anywhere else, throw them into the dump. Leavin will be the best hub in the game. Yeah, throw him into the Murkmire. Flush him down the toilet. That's the big toilet house in Murkmire. Leavin takes the crown in writ crafting. That's all I can say.
Now, I don't remember where the writ stations were, but what I do remember, so something I really liked about, whenever I was playing Oblivion is just the way the buildings were laid out. So something that I focused on whenever I was in the preview were the visuals of the new zone and looking at things like the furnishings, the way the buildings were laid out to see, the nostalgia between Leowyn in the Second Era versus Leowyn in the Third Era during Oblivion times. So I remember walking into the Leowyn Mages Guild and seeing that Y-shaped staircase, and that is still very much the style of buildings and architecture you can expect. The way everything is laid out, first of all, the the furnishings in this zone, especially like on the Imperial side of things. I didn't like focus too much on Gideon. I didn't go into many of those buildings, but I did really focus on Leyawiin specifically. They have like a Khajiit meets Imperial feel to them. Like there's a lot of red tones, and they were really, really gorgeous. Really fit the feel of the city to me. It was super nostalgic seeing the way that all the buildings were laid out. It was really, really cool to see. And there were little touches too, like some knights sparring in the courtyard of Leyawiin Castle, and just all of these really cool immersive elements in the city of Leyawiin itself that were really exciting for me personally.
It definitely was. I mean, I'm looking forward to all the housing that we will get with this chapter, as well as all the furnishing that we will get with this chapter. And the zone. It's going to be a lot of, screenshot taking, doing city tours, and just overall questing. There are some really cool new overland creatures, or creatures in general. The chonker frogs that we have seen on the Elder Scrolls Online social media accounts. They are really, really chonker frogs. And in the trial they hurt. We've done the trial.
I also love the Bog Dogs.
I don't remember the Bog Dogs.
So there were some just south of Leyawiin up on a hill. They're really cute and like a weird. They're a bog dog, so they're not like traditional cute, but they're still kind of cute. I like them a lot. I can't wait to figure out how to get the bog dog pet that they showed during one of the live streams.
I don't know. Are they
I'm a bog
cute
dog
like
fan.
how people think guars are cute?
No.
Okay.
Nope, different type of cute. They're like an ugly cute, and I love them.
Okay, guars are
love them
because
very
we know
much.
guars are not actually cute, but they are nasty.
I've
They're
seen the
white.
chart. I've seen the chart. The chart is fairly convincing. Not sure if I'm totally sold on it. Maybe we need to see the chart again at some point here soon.
So the stream actually is showing
Chonker
the
frogs
chonker frogs.
currently,
Yeah. So for audio listeners, this doesn't mean anything. But while we weren't allowed to record any footage from the preview event, we were giving a sort of like the footage, like the official footage. And if you want to see it, you can go onto our YouTube or Twitch and find the episode 269 of Tales of Tamriel, because if you have it playing in the background, it's like a 5-minute footage on a loop. What else? I mentioned trial, didn't I? So
Yes.
I got to do the trial, which I don't even do in the live servers. So I was, very lucky to join some amazing names to do the trial. I got to tank alongside Nefas, which was, I guess, one of the tanking highlight experiences for me, because he is one of the, the great tank educators, I want to say, if that's the right word.
This is a beast.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he does the ESO University and everything like that. So we got to do the trial. We finished it on normal. I'm not going to spoil anything from the trial. I just want to say it has an Argonian aesthetic, so sort of Ruins of Mazatoon type aesthetic. And you do get to see Deadlands with a very interesting, fun, sort of... what do I want to say? Not gimmicky, no. It has a very fun surprise and mechanic that we haven't seen in Elder Scrolls Online ever before.
Ooh.
It's a neat mechanic that I feel like will murder people on Veteran, but we will see.
Oh god.
Well, they've been doing some stuff like that I've really enjoyed. I mean, some of the new, both of the new dungeons we
Mhm.
messed with. I liked some of the unique stuff in there that they had, as well as like I've made reference to Kind Zagus. I just love on the second boss the idea of sieging the boat, like with rebuilding
Right.
the like that's such an underutilized mechanic in the rest of the game unless you play Cyrodiil. There's like 3 points, including that trial, that I think you ever use like siege weapons in the game. It's neat to have them kind of bring those things into either challenging content or story content and stuff like that, because there's more things that they can and keep coming up with that mix up the combat a bit, which I definitely like.
Mhm. Yeah,
So I'm
this
eager to
this
see
mechanic
this.
definitely makes you go like, oh, and then panic.
Yeah, all right, good.
See, now this was, I think it was like at 2 p.m. my time. And so I was still stuck at work and couldn't go in. But I was just living vicariously through you guys.
What else about the trial? So, you know how I say I don't like trash pools at all, and I prefer the Cloud Rest style trials where there are absolutely no trash pools and it's just like boss. And some people prefer there to be trash pools between bosses.
Me.
Yeah.
Me also.
So, Rockgrow is a perfect mix. It's not boss, but it has the perfect amount of trash pools that it doesn't bore folks like me to the hell by throwing trash after trash after trash at us. So I think it's perfectly length, perfectly length. Well, it's
a perfect length.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I appreciate that.
Rearrange the words; they're all there. It's just the stew isn't mixed properly of words.
It's 6:30 a.m. I haven't slept. What else can I say about the trial without spoiling the fun? I'm thinking. Not much. You have to experience it yourself. It's a neat trial, 100%.
Clearly, you got the trifecta on your first try: speedrun, no death, hard modes, all. Oh
yeah,
once.
we did. Yeah. Of course, I was there. What do you think? I carried like Nefas and the
everybody
reps.
In the backpack.
Yeah, it
and
was
right off the cliff.
Yeah, I did my best. Also, I remembered why I don't want to play on NA anymore, because I couldn't cast any of my skills. Got the ping, man. The ping is... Who would have thought
7,000 miles of distance would cause ping problems?
I kept losing taunt in front of Nefas, man. That's just embarrassing.
Man. Yeah, that's...
He
does, instead of speaking in zone chat, he just posts a link to his website on beginning tanking.
Yeah, that was like... So I was supposed to, hold one specific thing, and I kept losing it because I couldn't weapon swap to actually taunt it properly. I was like, the thing is loose, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I know.
It's not my first day, I promise.
Yeah. I've been tanking for 7 years. Yeah, good times.
On the flip side, what you could have done going into it when they, made positions on the first pull, you could have been like, okay, so which button is the thing that makes them angry? Just really double down on the fact that you weren't going to taunt.
I mean, in the trial, we were with, all the North American folks. I was the only one from the EU side, I believe. Yeah. And because I was having high ping, at some point I was like, oh man, I remember why I don't play on NA anymore. And then there was this silence for a second. And I was like, I can't cast any of my skills. And then people burst into laughter. They're like, oh, I thought that was going to be a lot more toxic than that.
All 11 of them run over and just feverishly teabag you.
Yeah. I remember why I don't play on NA anymore. All of you suck.
I hate all of you.
Yeah. What else we can say about Blackwood? I think we covered... Oh, new tutorial. Pixie, you did the new tutorial, right?
I did not do the new tutorial. Okay. I immediately made a max level 2.
So
I was like, ooh, CP 3600. This sounds like fun. And then I didn't slot any of my champion points and just ran around the zone looking for portals.
So I didn't do the tutorial either. Great. So we failed at that part. But so there's going to be a new tutorial with the Blackwood Chapter, and it will allow you to basically start choose your starting path. Do you want to start in the most recent zone? You will be able to. Do you want to start in the base game? You will be able to. Do you want to start in Morrowind? Well, guess what? You can start in Morrowind. So from now on, one of my biggest problems with, the game dropping every player into the most recent zone has been that new players don't know the chronological order of doing the quests. And they don't know that there is a chronological order of doing the quest. So they just pick up where you drop them in the game, right? And in my opinion, at least, if I was a new player, and if the game started me in the most recent zone, and I didn't know that, and I just started doing the quests in a random order, I would be very sad, because I love my quests. Now, with this new tutorial, you will actually have the option to pick where you begin. So if you want to start at the base game, with the base game tutorial, Oblivion, Prisoner, getting dropped in Balfoyen, or Bleakrock, or the other started islands if you're in one of the wrong factions, you will actually be able to do that. So that's, I feel like, in my opinion, is a great base game update, especially for the onboarding experience of the new players. That is just on point. Honestly, this Blackwood chapter fixes a massive amount of issues that I had in Elder Scrolls Online. All the things I've been mentioning in the last 100 episodes of Elder Scrolls Online, or 100 episodes of doing this podcast, this update addresses. It is perfect. This is my update. We are going back to Cyrodiil. We are getting more Nibbenese architecture and no more Nibbenese furnishing. We are getting a tutorial that actually allows you to start in the base game. We are getting companions. We are getting access to crown crates with in-game currency. What else? There isn't anything else I can think of. Well, there's one more thing I can think of, and that is 2-way PvP, not 3-way PvP. Just 6 versus 6 PvP. That's it. That's the only thing I expect now.
I'm really happy with everything, especially the crown crate changes. Like, I just can't get over the freaking Endeavor system. Also, something that I stumbled across, and it was kind of shown a little bit. This is kind of a tangent, but it was something that really stuck out to me. I think it's going to be one of my favorite places in Tamriel because it was just so cute. So there's an inn just north of Leowin, where there's that dancing dog that they showed during one of the ESO lives. There were seriously over 10 cats and over 10 dogs, both scattered around the grounds of the inn and inside the inn. And it was so adorable, and I loved it so much. They were sitting on the little beds, and I know this is like a stupid little thing because it does nothing for the story or whatever, that I'm assuming, because they didn't do any of the story stuff because they didn't want it spoiled for me. But my God, it was such a cute little touch. I can't wait to go see my dog friends at the inn again. Like, it was
I love
so
that
cute.
small inn. It's like it's an inn ran by animals, and it's perfect.
It is. I think it's called like the White Stallion Inn, and it's just north of Leowin. And you guys all have to go see it because it's one of the best things in the game. Like, I swear.
So, another question about companions. Will companions participate in duels? No. So, companions will not be able to join any PvP and any arena. So, no Milestorm Arena, Vateshran Hallows, no PvP, no duels, no Cyrodiil, no battlegrounds, because they are too squishy for, like, in PvP, they can't help. And for arenas, they will throw off the balance. So, yeah, no single player arena, yes.
Yeah, so they'd be allowed.
I guess Dragonstar and Black Rose also called arenas, that is true.
Yes.
I keep
so you could
thinking of them as like dungeons of sorts because of
Sure.
Yeah, they are technically arenas too.
Yeah, do yourself a favor and don't use them in there. It sounds like, anyways.
that is true. I mean, no.
Just because it's allowed, don't do it.
You will melt in Blackrose prison with a poor, especially if you are going about it on veteran. But then again, no. See, it will help insanely with that Blackrose prison grind on normal.
Oh.
It will help so much.
Yeah.
You won't need... to have a second person. I mean, yeah, the experience benefit is something, but you'll just be able to go in there, solo it on normal.
I still assume they're going to find some way to put a stop to that. Just throwing that out there.
I haven't done it at all, so I hope they don't do it until the next events end, so I can actually get some grinding done in there.
Let's just say that I might have jumped about 300 CP just casually doing it every now and then during the event. I did not spend a lot of effort doing it. And then you've got people like J-Dub and Inklings who are now 3,600 CP. So they got like 1,800 CP.
Inklings, I believe, actually started an EU character.
He did.
I think now he's grinding on EU.
Yeah, because why not?
He just loves the grind.
I was going to say, I don't know what's wrong with him. From my perspective, I hate grinding, so...
Yep. He's the antithesis of you. I hate grinding. I only grind.
Yeah, I hate grinding. I hate doing my writs. I hate doing my dailies. And then there's Inklings, who is doing his second account to 3,600 CP. He is the foremost, fighter for the Reds.
Leader. Yeah, I was gonna say he's so organized with everything. It's like this is how you get to max crafting in 14.35 seconds, and
I can't even write a build of my own character that I've been playing for so long. Whenever I start to actually type down like a build, I'm like, why am I adding all these details? Don't matter. People can do this. So it ends up like the entire build ends up like, you use this monster set, this second set, this third set, and these skills. That's the build. Yeah, figure out your CP, figure out your traits.
Yeah, you got this. You'll be fine.
Doesn't matter which race you are, It's chat, if you have any more questions about Blackwood, do let us know. In the meantime, Pixie, do you have anything else you want to add? Anything you have done in Blackwood during the testing?
So, again, like this, I really focused heavily on the appearance of the zone and like points of interest. And some things that were just like a wow point for me. So like right now, if you're watching the live stream, you can see a character riding through Leyawen itself. So Leyawen was breathtaking. But I think the most visually stunning thing that I saw was Zenithar's Abbey, which is one of the 2 public dungeons. I could not go into Zenithar's Abbey because of how old the build was. But just standing at the outside, I was in awe by what I was seeing. Like enemies stationed on top of the battlements. There was a patrolling enemy up on top as well. It was just amazing. It was just mind-blowing to just stand there and just watch from outside even. So I can't wait to see what it's like whenever I finally get to go inside there. The other public dungeon was called the Silent Halls. That's what it was. And that one I could go inside, and it was really cool. The layout was really interesting of it. There was just so much exploration there. There were Ayleid ruins with some really cool, interesting statues that I'm really hoping get brought into housing. There was one that involved a phoenix-looking bird that was just amazing, and it was just actually you can see it right there. That was wow. That was right on cue with the video. It was just so visually stunning, and there were these willow trees all throughout that I'm hoping are included in like the in-game housing merchants as well. I know a lot of times you'll get like the new trees. Well, these willow trees were just absolutely gorgeous, and I was just in awe of how pretty everything was, even though it was pretty swampy and stuff. And I love Argonian, so seeing the new Argonian motifs on some of the characters, like really looking forward to all of the housing and style opportunities, as well as just questing through the zone, since it's just so absolutely gorgeous. And so I did focus primarily on delves and public dungeons and things, and I'm just so happy with what I saw in this preview, and I cannot wait to try it on live.
Yeah, and it's not going to be a small zone either. It's pretty big.
Yeah.
So running from one end to the other takes quite some time. And I think in size, it's going to be bigger than, especially in playable size, it's going to be bigger than Vardenfell, because Vardenfell also has a big, red mountain in the middle that is not a playable area. So this does look like it's definitely going to be bigger than Vardenfell, probably Western Skyrim, excluding Blackreach. I don't know the total size when combined with Blackreach. But yeah, this is going to be a one big zone. And there's only more to come as well with the DLC 2 to this year, which we will speculate about at a later time, I suppose. Once we get more hints from this chapter about where we are going next, we are going to do our...
Well, they already told us that it's going to be entirely in the Deadlands.
Oh, right, that is true. Fourth quarter. That is right.
Which still seems weird to me that we're not going to have anything. I don't know. I'm very curious how that will work out if we're literally only in the Deadlands.
It'll likely be a lot like Cold Harbor, how that zone, like
I could see that. Okay,
we're gonna get something like that again if I had to guess.
Yeah, that could make sense.
I mean, they would have to start bringing in Daedric Realms anyway, because we are running out of space on Tamriel. We are legit running out of space on Tamriel at this rate. I mean, a couple more years, and there won't be too much place left to actually unlock with like one big chapter and a smaller zone every year. So some of these.
Can we go to colored rooms next? Please.
I'm still expecting Meridia to be involved at some point heavily, and Smacker. So yes, hopefully.
Let's go to colored rooms next. That's my vote.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Lotus, do you have any questions regarding Blackwood at this point?
Anything that I either had questions from myself or I saw that I was pleased with from the chat that I could throw out just on that. That was pretty comprehensive. I feel like I was there. But
I'm sorry.
Well, like I had mentioned, I do like the element of having some stuff be a surprise, but at the same time, I don't need to be entirely blind because I'm super excited to see a lot of this stuff. So it's it's got pros and cons because nothing's technically spoiled for me, but at the same time, now I'm super interested in it. So from my perspective, that answered mostly a lot of the questions I had with the portals and the companions, because I have been very curious on the details of the companions. So I don't know, at least from my perspective, that gave me a good understanding of what I'm going to be messing with outside of screwing around with them myself. So
So I saw a question Raisler asked, did you see the new player house? I saw part of it.
I didn't see that.
And it's in the same degree as Proudspire Manor in Solitude. So it's a medium to small size house. It's within Leavin. There's another house that I didn't see. It wasn't in the build. But it looks like there's going to be two houses, one in Leavin. Gina did mention that they will have a housing tour later on in one of the ESO lives. So with the housing lead, like housing person. So we should see more of its details. This is a nice chapter for solo players. This is actually one of the more solo-oriented chapters, especially with the introduction of companions.
Sure.
This will definitely be a more solo-friendly, solo-oriented chapter. So,
well, and the incursions seem very much like fighting a world boss or a dragon. That seems like you're going to really kind of just like, you need a group. People will just get wrecked by that until you become very advanced. Whereas these portals seem much more of, you can do work until others show up. A lot of people, when you're newer or not as strong, you're not really going to do much to a dragon until other people show up. You're just going to get the crap kicked out of you until someone helps you. It seems like these, you'll be able to make progress, and more people join, the easier it gets for you, type of deal.
Yeah, pretty much. That is a good point, actually. I hadn't thought about that part. But yeah, you'll definitely be able to do some solo work in there. Much like, a public dungeon, unless you pull everything like 100 mobs at the same time and then overwhelm yourself. And Rich actually mentioned that, you know, the reason they call these chapters and not like just expansions is because these chapters, you know, appeal to both veteran players and new players. So it's not like, okay, to do the content of this, you have to be already maxed out, you know, already be level 80, and then this expansion unlocks the next 5 levels. So if you want to do the content of this, you have to be level 80, fully geared, and then stuff. Now, so that the ESO chapters are always, you can start at the beginning and immediately dive in to the newest content that the game has offering. So that is definitely one part of ESO's advantage over some other MMORPGs out there. Also, as I mentioned that, I forgot one thing to mention. You know, there's an add-on called, one of the most popular combat add-ons in PC.
I remember.
The action duration reminder, which basically puts a cooldown, not a cooldown, but duration reminder on your hotbar. So say I have Green Dragon Blood, it has a 25-second duration, I pop it. The add-on action duration reminder, basically what it does is it starts counting down from 25 seconds, right? So they are implementing it to the base game. So the consoles will have it as well. And
I totally forgot about this.
Everyone else will have it. Have it officially. They've been actually implementing some of this stuff. For example, advanced filters back in the day was an add-on, and it is now part of the base game. Advanced guild search, I think it was Awesome Guild Store, which is also still an add-on, but a lot of its functionalities eventually got into the base game. So we are getting action duration reminder now. And people did ask about some other add-ons, like, you know, lore books or sky shards, auto category. For me, I would love that to be in the base game. They said that they are aware of all these popular add-ons, but they can only implement so much at any given time, you know. So, but yeah, action duration reminder is coming to the base game as well.
That should be a good thing for a lot of DPS and stuff like that. So that's good.
Especially on console, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at my notes and a couple more things. So for consoles, for the console enhanced version, there will be a performance mode. So you will either be able to play the game at 1440p 60 frames or 4K 30 frames per second. So if you want the 60 frames experience, you can lower it down to 2K, and if you want the 4K experience, it'll be 30 frames. So you will be able to choose on the fly without, you know, reinstalling everything and stuff like that. You'll be able to choose which type of, you know, visual quality, whether frames or resolution, that you want. You'll be able to choose that. Let's see, anything else have I missed in terms of Blackwood? Doesn't seem like it. That's pretty much it from me. Yeah.
I think that about covers it for me as well.
So we said earlier last night, you know, we are gonna do like a 30 minutes tops episode. That was a lie.
It's always a lie. It's always a lie, Ark.
It's going to be a short 2-hour episode. We've gone over this. All shows are 2 hours.
We had a lot more to discuss than I thought. Because when I was looking at my notes, it was like bullet points, everything we learned in Blackwood. And then once we got into the questions and, you know, explaining stuff or discussing their implementations, yeah, that was a lie. And that's so that is it for the Blackwood section of the show. That is officially it. Now, do you guys want to go into our tales, or do you want to wrap it up? Because I know it's late, Pixie. I know you have to wake up early.
Yeah, I have to get up pretty early in the morning. Otherwise, I'd stick around.
Okay, then we'll wrap it up. I mean, we are at an hour and a half. It's a decently sized episode. And we can always save our tales for next week. So
That sounds like a plan.
Lotus, any final thoughts, and where can people find you?
So you can find me pretty much anywhere at Lotus of Doom, Twitter, Twitch, and I am also, I guess this is worth shouting out here. I guess there's two things I should probably mention because I organize things and I'm totally not fired from the hip. First thing is with all this talk about Blackwood, if you play on Xbox or are interested in playing on Xbox, it was a couple months now, I guess, ago. Drew from the community provided me a code for the Blackwood chapter on the Xbox, and he has generously provided me another code in which I will be giving away. So if you have interest in winning a copy of Blackwood, it'll come with the base game if you don't have it, or if you just want to upgrade and want to save yourself some money, I will be giving it away on my stream, and that is on Lotus of Doom. Just on Twitch, it's just me. The stream will be next Sunday. Would be that will be this coming one, the 25th. So it will be April 25th. I will have an exact time. I usually stream around 2/3 in the afternoon. I'll give exact details again coming up. But yeah, you don't need to follow my stuff or any of that stuff. This is just to give back to the community. So shout out to Drew for providing this to me to help out. And yeah, if you want to just drop by, I will continue to give everybody updates. But yeah, if that's something you would be interested in, that will be once again April 25th will be when we'll be doing that. And then on the other podcast that I'm part of, for the Elder Scrolls Lorecast, which we record Thursdays at 9 p.m. over on Robots Radio on Twitch, we are having on May 6th, creative director Rich Lambert will be joining us to discuss the upcoming chapter and his involvement with it. And since the Elder Scrolls Lorecast is less of a roundtable discussion like we do here and more of a focused overview on lore and different topics, with Rich joining us, we're going to try to delve a little bit more into, I mean, there'll obviously be some pre-hype stuff because we'll be getting closer and closer to the actual launch, but his connection to the series as a whole, as well as some of his direct connections to why Oblivion is kind of his thing, so to speak. So if you have interest in that, Rich will be joining us on May 6th over there on the Lorecast.
Now, the important question is, will he be wearing pants? That's
that's
the only gauge you have, man.
I won't.
Whether if he's going to give you proper information or if he's just going to be...
It's true, or if it's just all random. Who knows? You can't tell if we're wearing pants right now via stream, so I guess it will kind of be up for the audience's best guess during Lorecast whether pants will be in
for anyone
presence
who's
or not.
new to ESO and what we were talking about, that must have been very confusing.
Yeah.
Creative director not wearing pants? What?
Right.
For
He likes
context,
shorts.
yeah, for context, Rich, even in the super cold winter, wears shorts, except when he has to make a proper announcement during events. That's
then he wears pants. So that's, if you see
he has
Rich Lambert in pants,
he has announcement pants, basically.
yes. So something's happening if there's pants. So that's the context for that joke.
Pixie, what about you?
You can find me at twitch.tv/HyperPixie Gaming and on Twitter at HyperPixie Games.
There you go, folks. And we are going to record probably on Saturday again next week, 10:30 p.m. EDT with the pre-show start and 11 p.m. with the actual show start. Unless you guys want to record on Fridays from now on. I don't know. This works for me too. We'll discuss it off the show.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
So next week we'll have PTS stuff to talk about. So we are going to be able to talk numbers, the new sets and things like that. Basically get into a bit more theory crafting side of things in addition to all the news that we talked about. So stay tuned for that. You can find this show, if you are not already listening there, or if you're watching us live, you can find this show on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Player FM, God knows where else. There are so many platforms that the show pops up on that I don't even know about. And you can follow everything we do over at dungeoncrawlernetwork.com. There you can find links to all of our social media, including Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and Discord. Remember, Twitch is now Arkaniir's Quest, not Dungeon Crawler Network. Be sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/dungeoncrawlernetwork if you want to help support the show, and consider leaving us a 5-star review on iTunes so people know that we're a real podcast, that we say real words, and sometimes they matter. Thank you all so very much for joining on this episode of Tales of Tamriel, and we will see you all next week. Have a great night, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
See you later.
When Akatosh slew Lorcan, he ripped his heart right out. He hurled it across Tamriel, and the heart was heard to shout, red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. The laughing heart sprayed blood afar, a gout on Seer it fell, and like a dart shot to its mark down in an alien well. Magic effused the Lorcan blood to crystal red and strong. Then wild elves cut and polished it down to chimel at a ball. Red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. When elves lost Nirn to men, Akatosh gave the stone to Saint Alesh in token of her right to sit the throne. Red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. Red diamond, protect us till the end.